Imagine a place where time has stood still, a place where a magnificent civilization rests at the bottom of the ocean, its secrets whispered by the waves. This is Atlantis, a legend that has lived in our imagination for thousands of years. Tonight, we will dive into this story. We won't search for it on a map. Instead, we'll let its myth embrace us. We'll walk its golden streets, hear the voices of its philosophers, and feel the tranquility of the ocean that swallowed it. This is a journey that will relax your mind and calm your heart. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and allow yourself to drift off into a dream of Atlantis. The journey to Atlantis begins not in the depths of the ocean, but in the quiet, reflective halls of ancient philosophy. It was here in Athens over 2,000 years ago that the philosopher Plato first introduced the world to this fabled city. Through the voice of his character, Critias, Plato described a magnificent island civilization that existed long before his time, a powerful empire of immense wealth and advanced knowledge. Imagine yourself in a garden, the scent of olive trees and jasmine filling the cool evening air. The sun has set, casting long, soft shadows. The air is still. Plato and his students are gathered, their voices low and measured, recounting stories of the past. It is in this serene setting that the tale of Atlantis first takes shape. Plato spoke of Atlantis as an island larger than Libya and Asia put together. He placed it beyond the Pillars of Heracles, the Strait of Gibraltar, a gateway to the vast, open Atlantic Ocean. In this grand city, the Atlanteans lived in harmony with nature, governed by 10 kings descended from Poseidon, the god of the sea. Their capital was a marvel of engineering, a series of concentric rings of land and water, connected by bridges and canals, all leading to a central island where a magnificent temple of Poseidon stood. The city was a masterpiece of design. The Atlanteans carved tunnels through the rings of land, creating harbors and docks for their ships. The canals were lined with polished stone, and the bridges were adorned with magnificent statues. The very walls of the city shimmered with a unique, reddish metal known as orichalcum, which glowed with a gentle light, reflecting the setting sun and bathing the city in a perpetual, warm light. Plato painted a picture of a society of great virtue. The Atlanteans were said to be wise, just, and compassionate. They lived in a golden age, their lives filled with peace and prosperity. They used their advanced knowledge not for conquest, but for the betterment of their people. They built beautiful fountains and lush gardens, where water from hot and cold springs flowed in harmony, a testament to their mastery of both engineering and their surroundings. But their perfect world was not to last. As generations passed, the Atlanteans grew arrogant. They began to crave more power, more wealth, and their moral integrity slowly eroded. They lost their divine connection and began to focus on material gain. This pride, this hubris, angered the gods. In a single dreadful day and night of fire and earthquakes, the island of Atlantis was said to have sunk beneath the waves, swallowed by the very ocean they had once ruled. This is the story of Atlantis as told by Plato, a moral tale of a perfect society that fell from grace. It is a peaceful, slow story meant to be savored, to be listened to as the night grows deeper. As you hear the tale of a city lost beneath the sea, let your mind drift away from your daily thoughts and surrender to the soothing rhythm of this ancient myth. As Plato's tale of Atlantis echoed through the quiet corridors of ancient thought, it began to evolve. The story, originally a philosophical metaphor, was soon absorbed into the collective imagination, where it mingled with other myths of lost lands and vanished civilizations. The idea of a lost Golden Age society was not unique to Plato. It was a deeply rooted theme in human storytelling, a universal echo of a paradise lost. Imagine yourself floating gently on a calm, dark sea under a sky full of stars. The water is warm, and the only sound is the soft, rhythmic lapping of waves against a silent shore. As you drift, voices from different ages and cultures begin to whisper their own versions of this ancient myth. The Celtic legends speak of the sunken kingdom of Atlantis, a rich land swallowed by the waves off the coast of Cornwall. The Norse sagas tell of a northern paradise that was lost to the ice. These stories, passed down through generations around crackling fires, were a way to explain the raw, untamable power of the ocean and to warn of the dangers of hubris. Plato's account, however, was unique in its philosophical depth. For him, Atlantis was a cautionary tale, a grand and tragic parable designed to illustrate the corrupting influence of power and the moral decay that follows a loss of virtue. He used its story to illustrate his own ideas about the ideal republic and the consequences of moral decay. The earthquake that destroyed their city was not a random event, but a powerful judgment against their pride. The destruction was swift and total, a reminder that the gods did not tolerate human arrogance. Over the centuries, countless thinkers were captivated by this myth. In the Renaissance, scholars and explorers began to view the Atlantic Ocean not as an abyss, but as a vast, unknown space that might hold the remains of this lost kingdom. The search for Atlantis became intertwined with the age of exploration. The idea of a lost continent just beyond the horizon fired the imaginations of sailors and cartographers alike. It was a tangible myth, a blank space on the map waiting to be filled. In the 19th century, this fascination took on a new scientific vigor. Ignatius Donnelly, an American politician and writer, published a book titled Atlantis, The Antediluvian World in 1882. He argued that all great ancient civilizations, from Egypt to the Mayans, were the descendants of the Atlanteans. Donnelly theorized that Atlantis was a real place, a continent in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean whose sudden destruction explained the worldwide flood myths. His work was a global sensation, transforming Atlantis from a philosophical allegory into a subject of serious though highly speculative archaeological inquiry. Donnelly's theory sparked a new wave of interest. He meticulously listed what he called the proofs of Atlantis, pointing to similarities in ancient cultures' architecture, languages, and religious beliefs. He suggested that the technology of the Atlanteans was far more advanced than was previously thought, and that they were the source of all civilization. His prose was vivid and persuasive, painting a picture of an advanced society that had mastered everything from agriculture to metalworking. He described Atlantean ships sailing the ancient seas, establishing colonies and spreading their knowledge across the globe. Later, the myth found its way into popular culture. Jules Verne's novel, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, included a visit to the submerged ruins of Atlantis. In Verne's portrayal, the city was not a myth but a real place, a haunting monument to a lost world. This literary depiction cemented Atlantis's place in the modern imagination, turning it into a tangible, if unreachable, destination. The legend of Atlantis continues to whisper to us, a soft, hypnotic rhythm of a lost time. It is a story of a great fall, a lesson about the fragile nature of civilization. As you listen to the echoes of these stories, let the gentle murmur of the waves wash over you. The search for Atlantis is not just about finding a lost city. It is about seeking something within ourselves, a lost sense of wonder, a forgotten connection to a perfect, peaceful world. Drift with the current of this ancient tale. Let the whispers of the past calm your mind and bring a sense of peace to your soul. The story of Atlantis is not meant to be a problem to solve, but a gentle mystery to embrace. Let it guide you into a quiet, restorative, and deeply peaceful sleep. The story of Atlantis has always straddled the line between myth and reality. While Plato's account was a moral tale, the powerful imagery of a great civilization swallowed by the sea has led many to search for a physical location. These searches have moved from the realm of philosophical allegory to the cold, hard world of scientific inquiry. This part of our journey will guide you through the most prominent theories and possible locations, presented not as a debate, but as fascinating possibilities. Imagine a vast, silent ocean floor where light filters down in gentle, blue-green beams. The water is cool and still. As you drift, we will visit the places where scientists and explorers have claimed to find clues to Atlantis. First and most compelling theory points to the island of Santorini, a volcanic island in the Aegean Sea. Around 1600 BCE, a catastrophic volcanic eruption, known as the Minoan eruption, tore the island apart. The event was so violent it created a massive caldera and a devastating tsunami. The thriving Minoan civilization on the island was wiped out, its cities buried under layers of volcanic ash, much like Pompeii. The physical evidence, a sudden, cataclysmic destruction of an advanced civilization, fits Plato's description in a truly striking way. The city of Akrotiri, a well-preserved Minoan settlement, was a marvel of its time with multi-story buildings and advanced plumbing. The sheer scale of the eruption, far more powerful than Krakatoa, could have created legends of an entire island sinking beneath the waves. The details of Plato's narrative, the earthquake, the fire, the sudden disappearance find a powerful echo here. Another theory takes us far across the Atlantic Ocean to the Bahamas. Off the coast of Bimini, divers discovered a massive underwater rock formation. This perfect, rectangular arrangement of limestone blocks, known as the Bimini Road, was hailed by some as the remains of an Atlantean harbor or wall. The stones, large and strangely uniform, lie in a straight line for hundreds of meters. Proponents argue that the precision of the formation is too perfect to be natural and must have been created by an intelligent civilization. While geologists have widely dismissed the Bimini Road as a natural, geological phenomenon, its appearance continues to spark the imagination, a tantalizing hint of a lost world just beneath the surface. Our journey also takes us to the vast, open Mediterranean Sea. Some scholars have suggested that Atlantis was not a single island, but a city on the coast of Spain or Africa, perhaps near the Strait of Gibraltar. This theory is supported by the fact that the ancient world often described the unknown lands beyond their known. Territory is far more exotic and grand than they were. The location itself fits Plato's initial geographical reference. The idea here is that a real, thriving coastal city was destroyed by a sudden cataclysm, and its story was exaggerated and transformed over generations until it became the mythical city of Atlantis. Other, more speculative theories lead us to even more remote locations. Some have looked to the sunken continent of Antarctica, suggesting it was once a temperate land that was abruptly covered by ice. Still others point to the legend of the Azores, a chain of volcanic islands in the mid-Atlantic ridge, whose volcanic nature and remote location could be a possible match dot as we explore these theories. Remember that each one is a path, not a destination. They are whispers of a possibility, not concrete answers. They invite us to relax our mind's need for a definitive fact and simply enjoy the elegance of the mystery. The beauty of the search for Atlantis lies not in finding it, but in the questions it inspires. So, let your mind drift with the slow currents of these fascinating ideas. As you consider the possibilities, allow the soft, deep silence of the ocean to surround you. Let the ancient mysteries of the world calm your thoughts. This is a journey of peace and rest. Let these quiet whispers of history and science lull you into a deep and peaceful sleep. As the scientific search for a physical Atlantis continues to ebb and flow, let us now turn away from the map and toward the quiet, still waters of philosophy and human nature. The true power of the Atlantis myth for many lies not in its geography, but in its profound meaning. It is a powerful, enduring metaphor for the rise and fall of civilizations, for the consequences of pride, and for the deep human yearning for a lost, perfect world. Imagine a quiet, moonlit shore. The waves lap softly against the sand, a gentle, rhythmic sound that calms the mind. The air is cool and still, scented with salt. In this peaceful setting, we can reflect on the deeper symbolism of Atlantis. For many thinkers, the lost continent represents the human dream of utopia. We all carry within us an image of a perfect society, a place of peace, harmony, and advanced knowledge, where people live in balance with nature and with each other. Atlantis embodies this ideal. Its golden streets and magnificent temples are a reflection of our highest aspirations, a shining city on a hill that we as a species are always striving to reach. But the myth also contains a profound warning. Plato's story is not just about a city. It is a timeless lesson about hubris or excessive pride. The Atlanteans were not destroyed by an outside enemy, but by their own arrogance. As they grew in power, they became consumed by greed and a desire for conquest. They lost their spiritual connection and became slaves to their own material desires. Their fall, then, was a moral one, a consequence of their own actions. The great earthquake that swallowed their city was the universe's inevitable response to their overreach. This theme of a moral fall is a powerful recurring motif in human storytelling. From the biblical tales of Babel and the Garden of Eden to countless modern narratives, we are drawn to stories of perfect societies that crumble due to the flaws of their inhabitants. Atlantis is the quintessential example of this. It is a reminder that true strength lies not in material wealth or technological prowess, but in virtue and wisdom, Consider the gentle, slow descent of the Atlantean society. It was not a sudden plunge into evil, but a gradual, almost imperceptible erosion of their moral foundation. They began by conquering neighboring lands, then by building monuments to their own glory, and finally by forgetting the very gods who had blessed them. This slow, quiet decay is perhaps the most frightening part of the story, as it reflects the subtle ways in which our own societies can lose their way. So, as the sounds of the night grow deeper, let these thoughts wash over you like the soft, rhythmic waves. Atlantis is a story that invites us to look inward. It asks us to consider our own lives and our own societies. Are we living in harmony with our values, or are we being led astray by the siren call of ambition and material gain? There is a profound sense of peace in this reflection. The myth of Atlantis doesn't demand answers. It simply offers questions. It reminds us of the delicate balance of existence and the importance of humility. As you drift further into sleep, allow the image of that submerged city to settle in your mind. It is not a place to be found, but a lesson to be understood, a gentle, peaceful reminder of our own journey. Let this soft, philosophical tide of thought carry you toward a deep, untroubled sleep. The story of Atlantis is not over. It simply continues in your dreams. As we reach the end of our journey through the legend of Atlantis, it is time to leave behind the theories and the history and simply embrace the final, peaceful moments of the story. The myth in all its forms has carried us far, from the quiet halls of ancient Athens to the deep, silent floors of the modern ocean. Now, all that remains is to let the gentle whispers of this tale lull you into a deep and restorative sleep. Imagine the sea has grown perfectly still, its surface like a sheet of dark, polished glass. The moon is high above, a soft silver disk casting a shimmering path across the water. The air is warm and still. There is no sound but the faintest, most rhythmic lapping of the waves against a distant shore. This is the moment when the legend of Atlantis becomes a part of you, a story not of a place to be found, but of a feeling to be experienced. Atlantis, whether it was a real city, a philosophical warning, or just a beautiful dream, lives on in our imagination. It resides in the quiet moments before we fall asleep, in the space where our thoughts grow soft and hazy. It is a symbol of our unending search for a better world, a perfect society, a place of peace. Its legacy is not found in sunken ruins, but in the enduring spirit of human creativity and aspiration. We are always, in some way, building our own Atlantises, striving for a future that is more beautiful, more harmonious, and more just. So, let the final echoes of this myth settle within you. The story is a gentle reminder of the power of dreams, of the mystery that surrounds us, and of the profound peace that can be found in letting go. The weight of the day, the worries, and the thoughts can now be placed into the vast, calm ocean of your mind. They can be carried away by the same currents that, in myth, took a great civilization down to its final rest. As you close your eyes, picture the depths below, not with fear, but with a sense of tranquility. Imagine the silent, vast world where the legends sleep. The bioluminescent fish are like tiny, moving stars in the darkness. The old stones of the forgotten city are now part of the natural world, a home for coral and sea creatures. There is no struggle here, no chaos, only a deep, profound stillness. Feel yourself being lulled by this serene, silent world. The gentle hum of the water is a soothing lullaby. The story has ended, but the feeling of peace it has brought you is just beginning. Let that feeling spread through your body, from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. Your muscles are relaxing, your breathing is slowing, and your mind is growing quiet. You are safe, you are calm, you are at peace. Let the waves of the ocean bring you a restful sleep. Let the quiet mystery of the deep soothe your soul. There is no need to hold on to your thoughts. They can simply drift away, like messages in a bottle on the open sea. You are now free to rest, to dream, to be at peace. The legend of Atlantis, the story of an entire world lost to time, has now brought you to this final, tranquil moment. Good night. Rest well, and may your dreams be as deep and serene as the ocean itself.